All right, everyone. I feel so glad to be back. It's been a really long time since I remember recording an episode. I actually even lost my other microphone. I'm using like one of the first ones I ever got, which is probably very fitting, but I'm so happy to be back. This time around, I am coming to you as my unfiltered self, as always. I mean, I think I did that last time. But even more so, I'm not striving for perfection. That's something I really have to work on consistently day to day. Oh, wow. There's this bird that I've been seeing every day since my Grammy passed. And I've been mentally telling it to get closer and closer just so I know. And it's literally right within my eyesight and watching me right now. Wow. Hey. Wow. That made my heart warm. Oh, anyways. My name is Venice Alexandra Thompson. Welcome to the Chrysalis. I want you all to know that I'm just a human being, okay? I'm flawed. And this Chrysalis is just me working through my own inner conundrums. The hopes is that my audience is moved to action of some sort, or at least that my audience feels seen in a way that you don't feel seen in your day-to-day. You know, I want this to be a space where you remember what it's like to dream, what it's like to hope for things that are currently outside of the scope of what you see. That's what faith is all about. All right, so with that said, born and raised Washington, D.C., my passions are many things. I'm an Aquarius, y'all. February 6th, Bob Marley, shout out. I'm getting more relaxed. But my passions are, first and foremost, art, specifically performing, specifically theater. I'm a theater kid at heart. I've been acting since when? Let's see, 7th or 8th grade. I really can't remember specifically. It's just been that long, but I was young, and it just, the spectacle, the joy of embodiment of the human existence is such an honor. And like when you can make someone feel, when you can respectfully control the emotions in such a way, it's almost like controlling the weather. It's quite an honor to possess such a gift. And through my acting, I have learned how to be more human, because you cannot be a good actor if you don't know how to listen, if you don't know how to observe. Stella Adler, one of the schools I trained at, part of the philosophy is, again, becoming a better human through acting, through perfecting the form, through discovery, through moving through life just as a human being. And that alone getting you closer to being able to embody and reflect the human form in a genuine and, what's the word? Perhaps speechless kind of way. You know? All right. Moving on. Next thing. Some of my hobbies. Well, right now I'm a personal trainer. I won't talk yet about where I work. Currently residing in Virginia. So I'm no longer in Florida. I think the last I spoke to you all, I was in Florida. So yeah, that's different. I just wanted to pop back in and remind you all that I'm here. And remind myself that this space is not about me coming to you all as this perfect thing to give you advice. Like, that's not what I'm about, and that's not what this started as. This started as a space for me to air out my innermost thoughts, insecurities, wonders, in the hopes that you all are wondering them too. And you're like, you know what, Phineas? Yeah, I feel that. Or, you know what, Phineas? Nah, I don't vibe with that. So yeah, through discussion with some of my close friends in college, just in my room, we came to some of the best discoveries and epiphanies, and it just felt like such a gift that I couldn't leave behind. Yeah, welcome, you guys. And you're always welcome to DM me, message me if you have something to say, just want to say hello, if you have a question, and I'll address it on air. I'll address you on air, what have you. Moving into my topic of the day, let's talk a little bit about the world. It's rough out here. It really is. I won't go into too much detail because that's a whole episode on its own. And honestly, that would be a movie, let's be honest. But we need to focus on what we can do to help one another right now. What can we do to pour into revolutionary joy, revolutionary community? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be struggle. But through struggle, I think what our ancestors did that we're learning how to do is persist, persevere, push through in such a way that we can still feed ourselves, that we're not burnt out, because I don't believe in pushing through for the sake of just doing it because somebody told you to. I don't like doing what I'm told. I believe in pushing through for the goal of self-discovery. That's what life's about, right? So yeah, let's focus on fostering the community that we need. What do you feel like you need? I know that I was feeling like I needed more femmes in my life. And so I've started working on getting a workshop together on teaching self-defense skills to, queer folks, they, thems, she, hers, what have you. So that we can know how to protect ourselves out here in these streets, because you can't always tote a weapon. That's quite a privilege. So what better to know how to use your hands, to know how to use the things around you to defend yourself. So, in my search for community, I'm creating a tool for others. And that's what I think is one of the beautiful things about life, is that as we move through and learn how to be ourselves, we find others that are like, you know what, I like that message. I feel like I can be myself now too, right next to you. And thusly we lock arms and walk hand in hand, toward the horizon. And scene. No, just kidding. All right. Scaling back. What's new with me? New job, new city, new priorities, new hair, new pet, new mental clarity, and new here we go. My neurodivergence is showing. New diagnoses that I've discovered. So yeah, I'm a personal trainer now. I think that the last that we spoke, I talked a little bit about thinking about it maybe, but yeah, I'm a personal trainer and I love what I do. I think that I've always had a very deep connection to movement. As an actor, we have a lot of training that starts with the very elementary mobility skills that we pick up as infants, moving the head around, using the voice from the gut, from the diaphragm, from the core, instead of placing it higher or lower. We learn how to place our voice, control that tool, control how we vibrate. It's quite beautiful. And falling in love with movement that way, life is funny, because I ended up here and I acted shocked, but it's really not that surprising. I've always been like athletic, not an athlete, let's get that straight, but athletic. And I've always really liked running around and being outside and playing and doing, like, challenging my body. So what better way to help others find joy in movement than through PT, not physical therapy. But part of what I do resembles physical therapy on some days. And I really do love working with, I just like working with people and sharing stories, because I think that we feel the best about life when we get to have those cheesy, cringy experiences where you like walk away thinking, wow, this is what it's about. Like when you have a conversation with the woman on the corner about her day and she tells you something that, makes you feel seen, or when you, hold the door open for somebody and they might not have had a smile on their face before, but now they do because you smiled at them. It's things like that that keep you going. And knowing that I can do that for others on a day-to-day, knowing that I can learn about people and listen to stories that they may not have told anybody before, and help them through problems and help them through their insecurities is really, really beautiful. And if I can change people's lives on a small scale on the day-to-day, then that's enough for me. I saw a video on Instagram, and I will do my best to find it and tag it in the description. But I saw a video and it talked about how you can avoid the feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough for the people around me, for the world. Do one thing for you, one thing for others, and one thing for the greater picture. So that's one thing that helps you feel better. One thing that helps like a person, an individual. It can be anybody, somebody you don't know, a friend. You can text someone, you can buy a meal for someone, what have you. And then the last thing is like doing something that helps the world. Like maybe I'll volunteer today. That's a little harder to do. So it's like these are things you can work your way up to level 1, level 2, level 3, or whatever. However you want to view it. But yes, I'll plug that video in the description of this episode because that really shifted my perspective. A lot of the times I'm really hard on myself. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, even when I'm doing everything under the sun and need to sit down. So this kind of helps keep my mind focused on what I am doing and not what I'm not. Oh, wow. Yeah, and not what I am not doing. I mean, double negative sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah. And then moving on. New priorities. This year, and I don't want to be that girl, but because I feel like everybody be like, hashtag 2025 is the year of discovery. And that's not what I'm saying. But 2025 really, you can feel something in the air, can't you? I know you can feel something in the air. There is change in the air in a different way. And I feel like that is especially notable considering that we are in a place that we have not been in since the 70s. Astrologically. You feel me? Yes, I am that girl. I'm the woo-woo girl. That's another thing about me that you'll know. I love astrology. I don't care if you judge me. That's your own problem. And quite honestly, I've seen enough to know that the demonization of ancestral practices is, again, not my problem. I can believe in what I choose to believe in. So I choose to look up to the stars sometimes for inspiration and information. And yeah, this year is quite the special one. I think that a lot of people are closing the chapter on generational curses. I think that a lot of people are standing in their power. I think that a lot of people are realizing their truth, their purpose, whatever you want to call it. I think that a lot of people are pushing against their comfortability in a way that they never have. I think that a lot of people are becoming who they are meant to be. I'll say that again. I think that right now, a lot of people are becoming who they are meant to be. Specifically, my millennial BBs. My folks in their Saturn return, the late 20s, the early 30s. I think that, and you know what? I'm going to say this very loosely because I still don't have it figured out at all. But I know that that's okay now. I don't freak out about it now. I know that there is power in the unknown. I know that there is bliss. There is spontaneity in the unknown. And that is something to relish in, you know. Sometimes knowing that's not ideal because then you can prepare. Then it's like, now what? Like nothing's exciting. You don't get to have the luxury, the beauty of adapting. You know what I mean? Adapting requires adjusting in real time. When you have time, like, to kind of process, I feel like that takes away some of the magic. And sometimes solving a problem in that instant is a different kind of growth. And I hope that made sense. I also got a diagnosis. I'll talk more about it in another episode for sure, because I know I'm not the only one. And especially as a Black queer person, I know that I'm not the only one who feels this way or who is currently going through this or something similar. But I did get an ADHD confirmation. We knew this already in my body. But I just, our symptoms are different. They're different than what the canon says that the symptoms should be. So of course we never get seen. And you know what? Quite honestly, the diagnosis wasn't for anybody really but myself, to understand myself better and to give myself grace. Yep. I'm patting myself on the back. There we go. But yeah, so if you hear me wandering, if you hear my thoughts trailing off, or if you hear me getting excited about something and like, why is she talking so fast? That's why. I'm fixating. But anyway. All right. Something else that I've gone through recently is losing my grandmother. She has transitioned, and that's okay. I can process the emotions. I am processing the emotions. I have processed the emotions. It's been about a month, but grief is not linear. It is constant. I will miss her and love her until the day I'm gone, and then some. I'll never be gone. Nobody is. And that's part of the reason why I'm okay. It's because she's with me every time I cook grits. She's with me every time I laugh. Embarrassingly to me, but now proudly, because I know that's her laugh. So I'm not concerned about that. But with that said, it's amazing to me the mental clarity that grief has brought me this time around. Because the last time I grieved like this, I was in 8th grade, I believe, when my aunt had passed away. And grieving someone that I loved this much, that was so important to me, is so important to me, is so different. And that has been a lot and will continue to be a lot. And I'll probably talk about her a lot. I'm smiling just thinking about her. I miss her so much. But it's amazing to me the peace that's come with losing her. Because I didn't lose her. I didn't lose her. All right. Speaking of peace, speaking of mental clarity, I want to talk a little bit about good conflict. Something that I struggle with and have struggled with for most of my life is confrontation, because of trauma and just because of other things. I think most people do not like to bump elbows. Honestly, there are people who like to upset others because they just want to, and that's their story. But I don't think anybody who's moving through this world trying to figure things out genuinely wants to cause problems for people unless they've harmed someone they care about. So, with that said, discomfort usually leads to growth. And that's what, again, the chrysalis is all about. Growth. Growing pains. Learning how to move through life with ease. Because it's hard. Life is so hard. And it's like, does it always have to be? No, it really doesn't. But giving yourself grace as a human being is letting life happen without questioning it all the time. And as a Virgo rising, y'all, I always want to question everything. I need answers. I need receipts. I need facts. I need data. But you can't always have that. Okay? You really can't. And growing pains is making peace with that and learning how to be kind to yourself through that process. When I say kind, I don't mean nice. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. When I say kind, I don't mean nice. Because what I want you all to know is, even though I'm a kind person, you'll find out in these episodes as you move through them that just because I'm kind doesn't mean you can step to me. I'll repeat that. Just because I'm kind doesn't mean you can step to me. Because if you step to me with disrespect, I will stand up for myself. And that's what we all need to be doing. We all need to stand our ground. We all need to have integrity for ourselves and for other people around us who are too vulnerable to speak their own truth. And it's not about speaking for someone else. It's about, if I live a similar truth or the same truth as them and they don't want to speak on theirs because they don't have the courage, if I have a little bit of that courage, then I better speak on it, because that frees up somebody else's voice. And that's part of the reason why I'm here in this chrysalis with you all. I want to show you all that it's okay to be imperfect. I want to show you all that the thoughts that I'm having, you're probably having too. The insecurities that I'm having, you're probably having too. So the people you revere, the people you look up to, are just human. I hear so many people say, oh, you're so good at this, you're so good at that. But I'm just a human and I'm just working through it. And we're all working through it. And if I'm good at it, you can be good at it too. And I'm not good at it. Like, I'm still learning. But yes, let's finish up a little bit, kind of, sort of. I think this will be a shorter episode, and I'm all right with that. This is a reintroduction. But I want to kind of top it off with honoring yourself and your boundaries. As a mom, as an almost 30-year-old, I met my husband when I was 22. So as you can imagine, I have changed a lot since 22. And I don't know her anymore. Like I know her in moments. I know her in fragments, and she will always be with me, but that is not who I am as a person anymore. I feel like when you grow up, the parts of you that you are in totality as a young person become fragments of you as you grow. Does that make sense? So like little parts of a quilt. It's like at one point you're just one patch, and then that patch moves on and becomes another patch, and now it's two patches, and so on and so forth until you're an entire quilt. So I feel like I'm just on a different patch. Yeah, I'm on a different patch. And this patch is about honoring myself and knowing that I can be kind, but I don't have to be nice, because being nice is about pleasing people. And I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done pleasing people. It's about making sure that I still serve myself through every situation in life. I'm no longer going to sell myself short, not give myself what I deserve, second guess myself, try to push myself towards perfection, because perfection is unobtainable. Okay? If you want to do something, I'm going to say it right now, just do it. The perfection comes with the effort that you put in over time. Okay? The perfection comes with the effort that you put in over time. Yoda said, do or do not, there is no try. And I tell y'all, that is one of my favorite quotes to date, because as an Aquarius, I am a bullshit radar. And I just don't believe in saying things that I'm not going to act on. And I even will kick my own ass, pardon my language, if I say something that I don't mean. And that's why I try to kind of think before I speak a little bit more these days. I try to think before I offer myself up to things that I don't have the capacity to do. And I ask myself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you really think you are going to be able to do that? Factor in all of the people pleasing that you might have done today. Factor in the Fenice in the future that's going to realize, ooh, girl, you might have overexerted yourself and now you got to play catch up a little bit. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We have to slowly give ourselves space to be human, And for me, I guess that looks like setting my boundaries very clearly. As somebody who's neurodivergent, if there's any sort of gray area, okay, let's get this clear. Yes, my intuition is very strong. Yes, sometimes I can read between the lines. Yes, sometimes I can sense the unsaid. However, when it comes to doing a job, or when it comes to helping others, providing a service for someone, I need you to tell me 1, 2, 3, what do you need exactly? And I can help you figure it out even, but we need clear instructions, okay? And thusly, we need clear boundaries. So, just making sure that people know what I need from them. I used to feel like a bother for asking for what I needed, like it was an inconvenience. But quite honestly, if I give that to others, why can't I ask for that? And you also owe that to yourself. If you give something to others, please, if you feel like you're not getting that, ask for it. The worst someone can say is no. And if they cannot provide you what you feel it is you need, then move on. Okay? Move on. Because what? Then you will grow. Ooh, Ooh, period. If you tell other people what you need and they can't give that to you, and you say, all right, I respect that you can't give that to me and I will not change you, but I respect myself enough to know that I'm going to move on and I will love you from there. Growth. Okay? So I encourage you all to move through this year with a little bit more gusto, with a little bit more respect for what you do in this life and all that it takes for you to be you. You know, give yourself the space to make mistakes, give yourself the space to learn, but also be open to criticism. And that's something that you will learn about me, is I'm open to criticism. I'm not perfect by any means. Nobody is. So if I say something wrong, then I'm okay acknowledging that and learning and moving forward and doing better. Yes. All right, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Chrysalis. Go ahead and make someone's day.